And this edition of Southern Newsweek, some very lucky Dunedin dance enthusiasts are set to get a lesson from some of the best in the business. We chat with a butcher who's boning up on her knife skills, and a Dunedin police officer calls it a day after 3 decades on the job. Kia ora, I'm Holly Buchanan. A lucky few Dunedin enthusiasts are set to get a lesson in the art of dance from 2 of its top purveyors. Carson Brailsford and Raina Hidalgo are performing on stage as part of Popstar Pink's show in September. And they're also set to give a workshop in the city.
Something to dance about. The Otago dancers are excited Pink's backup dancers will be in town for September's concert. And 80 local dancers are getting a chance to learn from the best.
The 2 dancers from Pink are coming along, and both of them are going to be running a masterclass, so that's intermediate to advanced level. And what they'll be doing is teaching a routine and then having a big question and answer session following.
Otago Dancers manager Xenia Kutcher says this will be a first for Dunedin.
We've never had an artist come with dancers of this calibre before, and her dancers are at the moment top of their game in the world, sought out world dancers, so it's just a huge opportunity.
For Annie Withington, dance is more than just a professional ambition.
For me, it was always something that I could do to relieve some stress if I was stressed out at school, or if I was having problems at home, or anything like that. Dance was a place where I could feel safe and I could feel happy.
While the workshop is already sold out, organisers are looking for a bigger venue to fit a few more along to the dance masterclass. In Dunedin, for the South Today.
Residents have started to quiz Queenstown Airport's management team over the company's plans to expand its noise boundaries and almost double aircraft movements by 2045. Recently, dozens of people living in the area affected by the airport's proposed 30-year master plan attended a community drop-in session at Queenstown Events Centre to voice their concerns and find out more about the plans.
The Queenstown Airport Corporation is proposing to extend its outer control noise boundary into large residential areas as part of its long-term plan. If successful, the plan will more than double passenger numbers and allow more than 41,000 aircraft movements a year by 2045. And where it's a major change, the airport is consulting with residents.
It's been a very good turnout. We've had a lot of people through the door. Most people are very happy with the materials that we've produced both online and in print, and have come through with a lot of questions about our proposal, and we've been able to help them with their queries.
The airport's management says the high turnout at a drop-in session is a positive sign for the consultation process. Some of those sharing their opinions include Marina Heights resident Peter Jenkins, who lives in the proposed noise boundary and says airport noise is already pretty loud.
Right now, some of the passenger aircraft on takeoff are so loud we have to turn off our TVs. They're proposing to increase it even further and with no mitigation.
And he doesn't like the idea that it's going to get louder, an opinion shared by Stephen Council of Kelvin Heights.
The problem I've got is that already we're finding the number of flights in Queenstown quite intrusive. It's for short periods of time, but in those short periods it's annoying as hell.
The residential areas affected by the proposed noise boundaries include properties around Franklin Road, a large section of Kelvin Heights and parts of the Lake Hayes estate. It'll affect more than 3,000 additional houses in the resort town as well. The consultation closes on August the 20th. In Queenstown, the South Today.
An aspiring Oamaru butcher has won the right to represent the South Island at the National Championships later this year. Justine Clark has taken out the title in Christchurch and says it's important to respect the knife.
She's the best butcher's apprentice on the mainland, and now Justine Clark is sharpening her skills to take on the nation's finest. The Oamaru butcher's just taken out the Ansco Foods South Island Butcher Apprentice of the Year in Christchurch.
I was a bit surprised that I won it, but yeah, it's definitely boosted my confidence. So, knowing that I can do something and I've done it well.
Contestants were given 2 hours to break down a size 16 chicken, a boneless beef rump and a full pork loin into high-end products.
It's right from like cutting, doing everything, to presenting it on the table, to how it looks there with all the garnish and everything like that on it.
It's just her second year as an apprentice, but already the trained chef says the most important thing she's learned is not to be scared of her knife.
I would say that might sound a wee bit weird, but you know, you need to use it in certain ways to create certain things. So just having a bit of respect for it, but knowing how to use it properly is definitely a skill.
The next step is to see if she can carve up the rest of the competition when she represents the South Island at the Nationals in Auckland in September. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A pop-up shop coming to Invercargill this week is offering a unique opportunity for Southland animal lovers. SPCA Southland is opening the region's first cat cafe to celebrate the organisation's biggest fundraising day of the year, Cupcake Day.
If this little guy looks like your ideal coffee date companion, you're in luck. Bandit is one of 5 cats chosen for SPCA Southland's pop-up cat cafe, which will open in Invercargill next week to raise funds for its annual Cupcake Day.
It's a really cool thing for our cats to be able to sort of showcase them in a way that it's a bit different. People can enjoy their company while enjoying a coffee, and not only is it, you know, raising much needed funds for these animals, but it's helping with our profile in our community, and it's giving back to our community as well.
As 5 of the SPCA's most affectionate felines, the organisation will offer the option to take the food away from all the fur.
They're all got different personalities, lots of fun, and we think they'd be our most confident, friendly cats to be able to go into an environment with lots of people. There will be seats available for people to sit down and have a wee pat and a cuddle, but all the food will be supplied as a takeaway, so the option's there to take it out of the room to eat it afterwards.
And if their social media is anything to go by, the SPCA's Cupcake Day is looking to be a sellout.
We put the advertisement up on social media, and within 2 hours we had extreme amount of comments and shares, and just everyone's absolutely loved the idea. So we were planning to make 200 cupcakes, so we've put that up to 300 just because of the feedback we've had.
SPCA Southland's pop-up cat cafe will be open on the 4th and 6th of August in Cambridge Place Arcade. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
A Dunedin police officer is calling it quits after more than 30 years patrolling the city's streets. She says the job has changed drastically over the years, and her career has taught her a lot about people.
Kathleen Goodman joined the now defunct New Zealand Ministry of Transport Traffic Force in 1980 and was one of the first women in the country to do so. She says the lure of an exciting lifestyle drew her to the field.
Riding the motorbikes, catching speeding drivers.
Goodman just scraped the height requirement for entry into the team, which had proved a barrier to other women, and she says the job taught her a lot about life in general.
You got to meet a lot of people, both civilians as well as staff, obviously with the MOT. You got to know the good and the bad in people.
Goodman was retrained as a police officer during the merger of the MOT and the New Zealand Police Force in 1992. She says despite her gender, she has not been treated differently by the public.
Not all the time. Still got spat in the face and got pushed around. So, but maybe it had a please and thank you. I always like to think I treated people the way I wanted to be treated and kept going.
She has a parting message for drivers which hasn't changed for 30 years. Always drive to the conditions. In Dunedin, The South Today.
After the break on Southern Newsweek, the body of a missing pilot and wreckage of his helicopter have been found. And a local Victoria Cross recipient is being marked with a special exhibition at Toitu. Welcome back. Police say the body of pilot Matt Wallace was found inside the wreckage of his helicopter in Lake Wanaka recently. About 30 people were involved in the recovery operation in the Stevenson's Arm area of the lake. Detective Sergeant Derek Shaw fronted a media conference in Wanaka and says the helicopter was pulled up from 47 metres below the surface.
There was a large commercial barge attached with a seagoing tug on it. There was a commercial catamaran, there was the police National Dive Squad, and there was the naval specialists, both divers and surveyors. So all those people came from different parts of the country and were stationed out over the crash site and worked together, and they together formed a plan and managed to locate the wreckage with Mr. Wallace in it. They've lifted the wreckage after attaching a line. Mr. Wallace has been removed from the wreckage when it's been in the water, and then he's been brought aboard the barge, and then later the wreckage has been brought onto the barge. What I did just want to emphasise is the diverse nature of the experts, but we had everything from deep sea experts to really good cooks, and not one of them was more important than the other. They all contributed to making the operation a success, and I think what is really important about the operation is that it was done in such a timely manner for the benefit of the Wallace family and Matt's wife.
The 100th year anniversary of Richard Travis being awarded the Victoria Cross is being marked with a special exhibition at Toitu. Wednesday marked the official anniversary, and the Settlers Museum says it's important to remember bravery above and beyond.
Forever remembered. The name of Sergeant R.C. Travis is among those on permanent display for valour following his exploits in World War I. A display honouring Richard Travis opens at Toitu tomorrow. The exhibition's designer Will McKee says he's remembered for a variety of reasons.
Dick Travis is one of those people whose courage and bravery is obviously noted by the medals he won, but also we remember the fact that he probably saved quite a few lives in the intelligence gathering he did, and we've been trying to put quite a few of these really special achievements out there in the public so that we all can remember those great feats.
But history shows Richard Travis wasn't a saint by any stretch of the imagination, having come down south after disputes in the North Island.
Yeah, he obviously had a bit of an indifferent upbringing, and the course of 100 plus years, that's sort of the only things that are written down, so it may have just been a couple of big quarrels with important people, but he did move from the Bay of Plenty and Poverty Bay down to Southland near Winton.
McKee says the Reverend David Heron is mostly responsible for documenting some of Richard Travis's wartime deeds, and he returned at the end of World War I with comprehensive notes on Travis, which have been passed down through the generations.
And so we're pretty fortunate to have those sorts of things, because often the detail gets lost over the course of history, but through David Heron's recordings and diaries and things like that, we've got a little bit of information about special events like that.
Along with a flair for heroics, Richard Travis is remembered for saving many people's lives, risking his own many times. The VC finally met his demise ironically behind the front line, uncharacteristically out of harm's way, where he was hit by a stray bullet. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on Southern Newsweek, colourful images of scans which show brain activity now grace the walls of a Dunedin facility, and a Southland family recently remembered Victorian Cross recipient Richard Travis on the centenary of his death. Welcome back. A Southland family has remembered Victorian Cross recipient Richard Travis on the centenary of his death. The family, who were relations of Travis' fiancée Letty Murray, were given the chance to view his medals in Invercargill and remember the fallen hero.
The Southland family today remembered a man they hold dear to their hearts. 79-year-old Bev Habgood is the great niece of Letty Murray, the fiancée of New Zealand war hero Richard Travis, who died 100 years ago today.
He meant a lot to our family. We've been told the stories over and over, all growing up, about his war efforts. And so we're here having a look at the medals. Our family donated the medals to the museum so that they would be here forever for the Southland public to be able to view and be here for years.
She said her family donated the medals to the Southland Museum and Art Gallery to keep them in the region where Travis was intent on living and raising a family.
We just want to make sure that they stay here in Invercargill, so that the Southland boy, even though he wasn't bred here, he wanted to have his life here. He decided he was going to live here at Rollbush and have a family. That's what his dream was.
She said the experience was an emotional one for her mother, who was raised on tales of the soldiers' bravery, and for her own children, who had taken a keen interest in their family history.
It's time for us to tell our story now, and this is what we're here, and for the kids to be able to see what's in their history and what's coming forward for them to come and visit the museum and see the medals as well.
Travis was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross in September 1918, which was included in the medals viewed by the family. A display honouring the fallen soldier opened today in Dunedin. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
The Waimakariri District Council has signed off on a new $28 million multi-use sport complex for North Canterbury. And while there's still some detailed design work to be carried out, the facility is expected to be completed in 2 years' time.
This new forecourt indoor sports facility and fitness centre is set to be part of an expanded hub to be built on the outskirts of Rangiora. The North Canterbury Sports and Recreation Trust has allocated $1 million towards the project and will also run the new facility on behalf of the council. Trust Chief Executive Michael Sharp says the centre will bring huge benefits to the community.
Yes, the Sports Trust are absolutely delighted with the decision from the Waimak District Council. Just see a huge benefit to our community.
Sharp, a former Canterbury cricket player and coach, says it will also help develop indoor sports in the region across a variety of codes.
The netball is very big in our district as well, and to give them an indoor facility that they can play their top netball, I think is fantastic. And all of our futsal is played in Christchurch at the moment, so a lot of these sports, if we can play home and away, it beats down the travel aspect of that as well. And
Councillor Wendy Doody says she's delighted the council approved the plan.
I'm absolutely delighted that this is going to go ahead. It's needed for the district. We've got so many young ones coming through that are wanting to play sport, and in the indoor court facility would be brilliant.
Community Recreation Manager Craig Sargison says they've been working on the plan for more than 10 years and it should complement existing facilities in the district.
Design that the building can be expanded in the future, so there's provision to add on another 2 courts. So potentially at some stage in the future, depending on the rate of population growth, it could be extended to include 6 courts.
It's expected the new sports centre will be ready for action by the end of 2020. In Rangiora, The South Today.
And finally, colourful images of brain scans now grace the walls of a new Dunedin research facility. The Multidisciplinary Health and Research Unit is preparing to carry out MRI imaging and have stumbled across works of art in the process.
These vivid images from MRI brain scans have been captured by university researchers of their own brains. They're setting up a pilot program as part of the Dunedin study. Research manager Dr. Sandhya Ramrika says the colourful images were just too good, so staff have displayed them there for everyone to enjoy.
They are staff brains, and we decided, because you get these beautiful pictures, we decided to use them as a feature for our walls in this brand new building.
The study follows a group of over 1,000 Dunedin children born in the early 70s. The imaging of staff members was part of their preparation to carry out their first MRIs of participants in the famous Life Study project. The images are not clinical scans and were captured for research purposes rather than diagnosing any potential conditions.
These are research scans, not clinical scans. However, each scan is read by a radiologist, so if there is any issue, they'd be alerted.
The graphic colours and lines seen in the images represent the direction brain signals travel as they race around processing stimuli. Ramrika says the latest scans from members of the study group will now be used as part of the overall research program.
What we're going to do with the scans that we've taken on our study members is link that to the data we have since they've they were born, so 45 years of data, and we hope that that will tell us some exciting things about how early childhood adversity affects us later in life, about ageing, about a number of things.
The images will remain at the centre to show study participants what their scans will look like. In Dunedin for the South Today.
That's all for this edition of Southern Newsweek. Get online and check us out on Facebook, or keep up with Southern News via our website, channel39.co.nz. I'm Holly Buchanan. Thanks for watching.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.